Oh, we've started. What are you looking at me like that for? All right. We have some help today. I think it's a good day to have a song. But first, let's do our memory verses. This will probably be the last time we go over them because we're done with Esther today. All right, so where is it? Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. Very good. All right, let's do a song today. I hope you guys know this one. Can you see it? Oh, yeah, we can see it. I'm going to get out of the way. I'm just going to click through here and sing along with the kids, okay? Is everybody ready? Here we go. I have the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. I have the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart to stay. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I have the love of Jesus in my heart. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I have the love of Jesus in my heart. We want to hear you say where. Aiden, you're going to be our where guy this time. Ready? Here we go. You get the last one. You two girls get the last one. Ready? I have the love of Jesus down in my heart.
Where?
Down in my heart.
Where?
Down in my heart. I have the love of Jesus down in my heart.
Where?
Down in my heart to stay. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I have the love of Jesus in my heart. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I have the love of Jesus in my heart. You girls are my wares. Ready? I have the peace that passes understanding down in my heart.
Where?
Down in my heart.
Where?
Down in my heart. I have the peace that passes understanding down in my heart.
Where?
Down in my heart to stay. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I have the love of Jesus in my heart. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I have the love of Jesus in my heart. Great job! I think I heard some kids out there saying, where? Maybe. Okay, you guys can have a seat. All right, so we're going to do review. Last week, we had the last lesson for Esther. Uh-oh, I got to find my... Hang on. Here it is. Right there. Okay, so we finished up Esther last week, and I hope you were able to see the video to find out what happened. And what we want to do this week is some review. So we'll talk about, we've got some questions. I have 14 questions. So, if you get a question right, give yourself 10 points. Okay? 10 points. Does that sound good? 10 points. We may have some extra points if there's some really hard questions. But these are the things that we've talked about over the last 5 weeks. God gives courage. God's plans are good. Pray to God. God gives grace. And God is in control. Remember that. God's in control. All right. Our first question. I'm going to adjust this just a little bit. There we go. Our first question is, in the book of Esther, what was the name of the king in Shushan? I'll give you a second to think about it. What was the king's name? Do you remember? It's kind of a hard name. Starts with A. King Ahasuerus. Yeah, that's an interesting name, isn't it? There he is, right there. Question number 2. These are just names, a couple of questions about names. What was the name of King Ahasuerus' first queen. Remember the first queen? What was her name? We didn't talk about her a lot. It was only the first lesson, so it might be hard to remember. What was the first queen's name? All right, you ready for the answer? Queen Vashti, right? Remember that? Vashti. Okay, question 3. The king wanted to show off the beautiful queen at a party. What did he do when Queen Vashti would not obey his orders? What did he do when she wouldn't obey? Do you remember what happened to her? She didn't want to come out. He wanted to show her off at the party, but she didn't want to come out. And she disobeyed. And he got together with his councilmen, and they said, let's banish her from the kingdom. I thought, okay, that's a good idea. So they banished her from the kingdom. That was it. No more Queen Vashti. Question number 4. Who was chosen as the new queen? This should be really easy. Right? Shouldn't it be? It's the name of the book we've been reading. Who was chosen? Oh, I think I hear somebody. Yes, that's right. Esther. Esther was the new queen, right? She wasn't sure why she got chosen to be queen, but she was chosen to be the new queen. Question number 5. Who helped raise Esther and was also her cousin? Somebody helped raise her. A man. Do you remember his name? I'll give you a hint. Starts with an M. And the first half of it's more. Oh, I think somebody's getting it. The answer is Mordecai. Yes, Mordecai, her cousin. All right, he helped raise her after her parents died. Now, number 6. What plan did Mordecai overhear from 2 men at the gate? He overheard something at the gate because he used to sit at the gate, and he heard these 2 men talking about something not good. What did he overhear? Do you remember? I'm going to give you a second. Here's the answer. He heard a plan by 2 men to kill the king. They wanted to get rid of the king, right? Do you remember that? I think that was our second lesson. And he overheard it. Don't forget, remember, that was written down in a book. That's important. We learned about why that's so important. So he heard that plan and he stopped it and saved the king's life. Question number 7. Haman, who was the king's second in command, remember that guy, that bad guy? He was second in command and he hated Mordecai. Do you remember why he hated Mordecai? Let's see, let's think. He was pretty proud, right? He wanted people to honor him when he would walk through the city. And he wanted them to bow down to him, right? But Mordecai would not bow down to him. Oh, he refused. And that's what made Haman so angry. All right, question number 8. What is a really big word that tells us God is in control? We talked about it in every lesson, and I'll give you a hint. It starts with the letter S. Big word. Now, if you get this one right, you better give yourself 1,000 points on this one. The other ones are worth 10, but if you can remember how to say this word, then you get a lot of points on it. Are you ready? Do you think you have it? Anybody have it? God's in control. He is sovereign, right? That's right. He is a sovereign God. Sovereign. That's the word we've been talking about all through this. He was in control the whole time. And remember that even when we think God isn't in control or he's not around, he's still there and he's taking care of everything. Don't forget that. Question number 9. What terrible law was passed because Haman hated Mordecai so much? He hated Mordecai because, remember, Mordecai was a Jew and so was Esther. And he didn't like it, so he came up with a plan. Do you remember what it was? He had it written down and sent out everywhere. That's right. In 1 year, all the Jews would be destroyed. Terrible, terrible law that was written. All because he hated Mordecai for not bowing down to him. He was such a proud man. Question number 10. Now, what did Queen Esther tell all the Jews to do before she went in to see the king? Alright, remember, that was a scary thing for her to do, and she wasn't sure she was going to do it. And she said, if you remember, she said, if I die, I die. But do this. Right? She asked them to fast and pray. Right? Fast and pray. So that she could go in to talk to the king about this horrible law to try and save her people. Right? I might be giving some question answers away by all my talking. Let's see. 11. What could the king do if people came in uninvited? I think I just said that. What happens if you went to the king, but he didn't call you in? Remember, it was 30 days before he had ever called Queen Esther in. And she said, "Ma, it's been a long time since the king called me in. I'm afraid to go in to see him." Why? That's right, because he could have you killed. No, I didn't invite you in. He could have them killed, but he let Esther come in and speak. Right? See, there's another part where God was in control. He softened the king's heart to allow her to come in and talk to him. And remember, God is in control. Okay? The king couldn't sleep. Remember this? That was such a great lesson. He couldn't sleep, and his servant read to him about how Mordecai saved the king's life. That was so cool how that was written down. And so many years later, it was found out that Mordecai saved the king's life. Number 12. Haman thought the king wanted to honor him, but who really got honored by the king, right? Remember, Haman came in. He said, "Oh man," the king said, "What would you do for somebody that you wanted to honor really well?" And Haman said, "Well, I put the king's robe on him, put him on his horse, lead him through the town, say, this is the guy that the king wants to honor." And the king liked that. So he says, "All right, do it for Mordecai." So Mordecai got the honor from the king for saving his life, right? He found out he wanted to honor Mordecai, and Haman was so proud he thought that the king wanted to honor him. No, he wanted to honor Mordecai because Mordecai was a good man. Question number 13. How are you guys doing with points now? Are you keeping track? How many have you gotten right? 6, 7, 8? Have you got all 13? If you got all 13, that's really good. I'm glad to hear that. Let's see. Esther invited the king to a banquet to ask him to save who? She wanted to save someone or someones, right? So when she went to the king, she asked him to a banquet. And she wanted to save her people, right? She wanted to save all of the Jews from that horrible law that they had put in place. And remember, he said, all right, and he allowed them to write a law and got rid of all that, right? And it saved the Jewish people from being destroyed. So they were very happy about that. Could you imagine, finding out your whole city was going to be destroyed from the Jewish people, and then they get saved just in time. The whole time God was working so that this could happen, right? Even when they may have wondered where God was, what was he doing? He was working through Esther. He was working through Mordecai. He was even working through the king, because the king allowed certain things to happen. He allowed Esther to come in, and they were so happy that this happened, that their lives were saved. That leads us to question number 14. What did the Jewish people do when a new law was written and their lives were saved? Do you remember what they did? We learned this last week. They started something, and it was a long celebration. It was 2 days. And every year, they set that same time aside, just like a birthday or a holiday, and they would remember it every year that was the date, the 2 days that they honored, that God saved the Jewish people from destruction. Oh man, it didn't look good through the whole story, did it? But everything worked out because God is sovereign. And then they had rest. The Bible says that they had rest. And I love that part about it. He delivered them through and gave them rest. And that's it for our review for Esther. I can't wait to see who we are going to talk about in the weeks to come for our lessons. I hope you enjoyed learning these. And I hope you have a great day today. All right. Bye.